Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Hope your Sunday is going amazing wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I am a little bit not prepared. It's so funny. I'm like, wait, everything is not set up the way I need to set up yet. But anyways, welcome to Facts and Two Cents. Anyway, and you will, as I try to figure out, wait, my earpieces are in the wrong place. This is my Sunday. So welcome to my very messy Sunday. Hopefully wherever you are is organized and you're on time and all of that wonderful stuff. But welcome to Facts and Two Cents. How are you all doing? As you know, we're a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, Mama Mia, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see who's in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. I see Karen Warder is in the chat. Hello, Karen. I just happened to run into you there. She has a whole big stuff that like not even ready yet. We're gonna get back to what Karen's talking about those on Shutter Island in a second. But hello, Lydia, my friend. How are you? Our awesome moderator, Lydia Nalathandu, joining us from South Africa. Hello, my friend. Nellie M. Hello, Nellie M. Fancy is here, and Olive is here, and Rosa. And well, yes, we said hi to Karen before. Hello, Karen. And Antoinette. Hello, Antoinette. And Lottie is here. Oh, wait, Antoinette, did I say you? Why did I even? It did not. Yeah, there we go, Antoinette. And Olive is here. Hello, Olive, and Lottie is here. And Karen, wait, I've never seen you here before. Did I just miss you, Karen DeMaris? Maybe I did, but hello and welcome. But yes, we'll get back to protests in a bit. Anyways, Rafaela is here. Hello, Rafaela. How are you, Miss Bertoni? How are you doing? And Joyce is here. Hello, Joyce. Come on, quick. Here we go. Joyce and Colette is here. So anyways, and we'll say hello to all of our other friends as they come in. But oh, hi, Session. I see you down there. Hello, my friend. Yeah, so a lot of stuff is going on in the world, as we know. Outside of the royal bubble, outside of our Sussex bubble, the real world is happening out there right now, and we've talked about that at length here, and you know where I stand with all that mess, and so we'll talk about it in a little bit, but our faves have been relatively quiet. I mean, not relative, they've been quiet actually since after New York. They are under their tree in Montecito, I'm assuming, doing whatever it is they're doing. And we are just happy for them, for their peace and their quiet, and they can work in private. And then when they're ready for us to see them, we'll see them, I'm sure. Lord, willing, keeps them safe and sound, and, lots of love and peace around them. So that's, again, that's what we pray for them. So there you go. But I love these photos. I just love these photos. I ran across them on Twitter and I was like, oh, of course, the one on the left is Harry and Meghan that were just in Dusseldorf for the Invictus Games. I love that photo. And also the other one is in the UK before obviously they left, when Harry had a lot more hair. As you can see, I'm sorry for all of those who yell at me whenever I talk about Harry's hair, but both were younger than a few years ago, and they were in an engagement somewhere in the UK. I don't know where. But I just love the photo. I love their connection, their relationships, and it's like, oh, it's just so cute. So I just love those photos for no reason other than I just love them. I just love my faves. So there. I don't think we have to have a reason for loving them. It's just, they're just there and we love them. So but those are the photos. I was just like, oh, so cute. May they forever be in love. That's what I pray for them. And before we even get to that, thank you all who voted. A few episodes back, I had, and I'm sure every others, whether it's Baron or Duchess of Success or any of the other Sussex Positive podcasts, which there are many now, and may have talked about this is Invictus Games put out a film and a short film about, sports and how, rehabilitation through sports. Obviously, basically the Invictus Games, or a miniature, a really, really, really miniature version of Heart of Invictus. But, all of the benefits basically of how sports help a person. And so, and it features, some of my faves from Nigeria, and it's like, oh, and there is a lot of it is about, the winter sports and all of that stuff. So it's really, really a cool film. So it's like about 10 minutes. I had put it in our community page, so definitely jump over there if you want to take a look at it. But they won. They won. And so thank you everyone who voted. But Invictus Games put out, it says the Invictus Games fundraiser esports short film was the community vote winner in the inaugural Esports Insider Film Festival. Thank you to everybody who voted for us. We are Invictus, yes. You can watch the Exploring Esports for Recovery right here. And of course, it's part of a video. And so again, in the community page, in the community page, you should find that link to the video. So again, thank you everyone who voted. I know they at Invictus are very excited about it and very happy, and it's so beneficial. And again, it's not just for vets. If you know anybody who is, needs some inspiration to be able to, to recover, really, I mean, sports can help us in every single way. As a person who grew up playing sports, I mean, if you're from the Caribbean, you just play sports. It's just part of our life. I can't speak for other, countries and stuff like that, but in my country, it was all about playing sports. All the bumps and bruises and some marks I still have, some bruises I still have, is from playing sports. And it's how, and I think that's why a lot of us just grew up so healthy or having healthy mindset, as because of sports. I mean, I didn't know it then, the value of sports and how it helps a person mentally. I didn't understand it, but I just know that whenever I'm on that court playing, it just gives you, whether it's teamwork, whether it's, fighting through stuff. I mean, I guess if you grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, at least my generation of people, I mean, you played netball, basketball, tennis, soccer, you run, I mean, you did relay, I mean, you did everything. Part of school, I know here in the US, it's like you have gym time. Part of our school life was playing games and playing sports. And so for me, I always grew up with that in mind. And, even though I didn't realize all the benefits of it, but I know it's something that for me, the minute I'm down, I grab my tennis racket and I'm down playing tennis or going for long. It's just part of who I am. And I always talked about, even during the pandemic, is one of the things, with photography that literally I feel like saved my life during the pandemic. Long walks, going to that tennis court, hitting just against the wall by myself, all of those things aid recovery and aid your mental health so much. So I can vouch for this stuff, and I'm not even in the military. So there, I didn't even mean to go into that spiel. So I don't even know why I'm talking about this. But if you know someone who can use some inspiration, or if you can, definitely go and watch it or have them watch it. It's amazing. Bonnie says, the same in Jamaica. I was in every sport going in school. Yeah. And I think that's the same with most Caribbean, right? A Caribbean island, right? Bonnie, is like our whole, like, we're all always outside playing, running, doing something. Even if it's like you're playing tag or chasing each other, it's like you're doing sports. It's amazing. Oh my goodness, 17 months. Happy Sunday, H9. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for supporting the channel for 17 months. Oh, and I know you've supported before, but thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Our 2 cents group member. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. so very much. Thank you. So let's see what else is happening. Apart from this, um, this happened yesterday. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, UK squatties. I don't mean, I'm not laughing at you, but I'm telling you in so many ways. I don't know if it's karma or whatever, but the UK, I mean, England has been taking it on the nose lately, especially in sports. They were playing rugby yesterday against South Africa. And, we remember, and these are photos from. Uh, these are photos from Harry in 2019 when the finals when Harry was in Tokyo. For the finals between the England and South Africa. And of course, we know what happened there. And so it's always just really funny to me, And so kind of the same thing happened because I know many in the UK was like, William and Kate are not going and all of that stuff. And, I don't know why y'all expect William and Kate to pick up and go anywhere, but, I mean, I think they were there maybe Oh, I think that weren't they there? I think when right before, was it that where they were right before the Invictus game or something? I don't remember, something like that. But but anyway, they weren't there, and I think this was like the semifinals yesterday, and of course South Africa won. But again, these photos. We remember what happened, and we remember Harry in, this is a video. Yeah, so we remember that from 2019. Harry in the locker room congratulating the South African team. And so, they didn't have Harry this time, but South Africa went ahead and they won yesterday the semifinals. And so now South Africa is in the finals. So Africa Facts Zone was like, best rugby team in the world, the Springboks of South Africa. And it's so funny because if you look at the picture in the bottom, apparently the same team is from 2019 is the team for 2023. It's the same people. And so the top photo you can see from 2019 and 2023, the same guys. And so I'm assuming this is like the starting lineup. I don't know anything about rugby. I literally know nothing about rugby because I don't really follow rugby. I only follow it when, for some reason, because it is around that royal thing when England is playing somebody and usually they're losing by the time I tune in. So very interesting. And that's Sia Colosi, I think how he says his last name. That's him on the end there on your left. And it's funny because that's him over here too, as we can remember him in Live to Lead, that very, very impacting story. That's the one with the green circle around him at the top there. And that was in Live to Lead. So it just, very interesting. Very interesting that yet again, England playing South Africa and they lost. And not only did England lose yesterday, I mean, and again, I'm sorry, London squaddies, but this is just, this is not about you, but it's just, yesterday was not a good day for if you were supporting British teams, because not only did they do rugby, it's a South Africa rugby team and the cricket team both beat England yesterday. The Springboks beat England, England's red and white 16-15 in the semifinals of the 2023 rugby, and the Proteas beat England 3 Lions by 229 runs in the 2023 Cricket World Cup. So England took it on the nose yesterday from South Africa. It's just like, oh my goodness, they could not win for nothing. So, South Africa is celebrating. I mean, gosh, they won by 229 runs. That's a lot. And I have not even paid attention to cricket in a long time. I mean, if you're from the Caribbean, you're all up into cricket. I have not been. Understanding cricket is how I was able to understand baseball so quickly, because they're kind of like a cousins to each other, I always think of. So it's if you understand one, you quickly understand the other, because it's kind of similar in the way it is. So it's very interesting. So, I'm telling you, y'all need to, apologize to Meghan, and then karma will start smiling at you. But until you do, this is what will happen. So, but this is not for, squatties. This is for the others in Shutter Island. And so they were having a hard day yesterday. So it's very, very interesting. What else is happening while our faves are under a tree? Well, while our faves are under a tree in Montecito, attached to a tree in Bucklebury, UK, some embarrassment for Kate Middleton's family. And as you can see, literally attached to a tree, literally stapled to a tree. I never even thought of stapling something to a tree, but whomever it is that put this up there stapled a laminated, embarrassment to about the Middletons. And so this is some of what it says. I guess the press, who, reporters saw this, I guess for legal reasons, they had to hide some of it, because I guess, somebody could sue them for whatever. So I don't know what it says. That says justice for creditors, and I guess the name of the people. Bucklebury Party Pieces Holdings Limited owe its creditors £2.5 million, including £831,435 to HMRC and government loans. Yes, folks, that's taxpayer money. Petition the insolvency service and whatever else they took out there. It says the future king's in-laws, basically shoving it to its creditors. Shameful. Cough up the money, or whatever else, again, redacted stuff there. But it is apparently posted all around the community. They put it by churches. I mean, they even, I guess, got churches, people who work in the church, they were commenting on it. They put it at churches, stores, trees, all around the community. They have these notes posted up. And so we heard about this like last week or earlier in the week, whatever. And so I talked about it in a past episode. And I thought, well, okay, they did that. And I thought, well, okay, maybe that's the end of it. But apparently not. Whatever they're tearing down, people keep putting it back up. And it's very funny to me when I saw this, but I will not say it in a minute. But anyway, Yahoo Entertainment commented on it, and I guess their source material came from the Daily Mail. So the Daily Mail and other tabloids have been, have articles about it. And so Yahoo says, according to the Daily Mail, the posters were hung on lampposts and trees around the couple's home village. So it was clear someone wanted the message across to the duo. Kate's younger brother, James, was also reportedly spotted tearing them down after becoming enraged by posters. The creditors want the Middletons to pay the owed sum, reportedly over $3.15 million in debt, out of their own bank accounts. Carol and Michael currently live in a $6 million $6 million 7-bedroom home, and have enjoyed a very privileged lifestyle over the years. Even if creditors are upset, so they have that. And then, other part of the article says, even if the creditors are upset, their neighbors are very supportive, and the Middletons feel badly about their financial woes. They're doing their best to make things right and don't deserve this kind of abuse. A source told The Sun, now they're crediting The Sun, another insider defended the family to the Express. So the Middletons basically have all their peeps in the British tabloids vouching for them. Another insider defended the family to the Express, noting, Carol and Michael are incredibly popular. Everyone is horrified by these posters. It's unfair fair to do this in their home village, just yards away from where they live. The couple may want to settle the debts as soon as possible so that it doesn't turn into another huge scandal for the palace, which has their own issues to deal with. And so I have to laugh about this because it's kind of like, whoever it is that's putting this up there. And to tell you the honest truth, with the way how the way how the British press work, and how the fact that Kate and Middleton have not exactly been giving them anything to write about, they have not been giving them any kind of anything. There's so much of the Sussexes who are, you don't know where they are. There's so much of stories they can invent about the Sussexes that anybody would, even think it's true or anything, because they know nothing about the Sussexes. Kate and William are going to have to pay up at some point. So it would not surprise me if this, I'm assuming the first part was whomever it is, maybe one of the creditors are like, look, if we're not going to get our money, and they were told explicitly that they're not by the person who purchased party pieces from Carol Middleton. He even went on television, what was it, last week, to say, no, they're not getting paid. They're not going to get their money back. I could understand them doing that, the week before. Notice when they did it before, nobody got a photo of these pictures. Nobody got a photo of these things that they posted. And then this week, with, again, with the Middletons off on a holiday again, I mean, whether it's a holiday or whether just home, apparently this is middle term or whatever you call it in the UK. So they took another week off. I mean, that's from the 3 months they took off over the summer. They took another week off to be with their kids. Look, I'm not, look, okay, that's what they want to do, whatever. So the press that, they have this contract with are getting nothing. It would not surprise me if this was what the press put up there to try to create some story. Now, I'm not saying they did, but it would not surprise me if it's somebody from the Daily Mail or the Sun or the Express or whatever creating a story. I'm like, this is just very neatly done. It is just so neat. And for me, it's too neat. It is too neat. And so I'm not saying they did, but it would not be surprising if this on that tree came from the press, so they can create a story. And then, one of the things that about this, the whole the articles, and even you read through this article, is that there's no one there in the community that they have put in the story that is on the side of the creditors who are owed money. Everybody they put in the story is supporting of the Middletons. Every single person. Not one person in that community is like, no, I understand, because they need to get paid. Nobody, every single person in the story and others are, oh my gosh, how could they do this to the Middletons? The whole framing of it now is they're attacking the Sussexes. They're attacking the Middletons. How could they attack the Middletons? They're so popular in their community. Everybody loves them. How could they do this to the Middletons? And so I smell a rat. And maybe it's because my complete lack of trust for anything around the British press. It would not be surprising if that came from them. But even if it didn't, the people, the creditors, they need to get their money back. I mean, and if you look, it is not, I don't sit here and be like, oh my gosh, I'm laughing at someone who got their business put out there in public. Nobody wants this. I wouldn't want if I owed someone something. It's already embarrassing when you owe someone. And then it's doubly embarrassing when it's out there in the public. And not only even more embarrassing when your family is supposedly so wealthy and then you're attached to the royal family. I mean, it's just like magnify that by like 1 million, right? So I don't sit here and be like, they were out. No, not at all. Nobody would want that. I wouldn't want that for myself. But you have to understand, when you're in a position when you owe someone and then you owe them this amount of money, and then you're living in a $6 million home and you have other homes, and then your in-laws have millions of dollars, maybe billions of dollars. Your kids are filthy rich. And your people, people in the community that gave you all this, or at least you were supposed to have purchased that, and they allowed you the credit to be able to get that, and then you're sitting there as a multimillionaire not paying them back, even though it's your company and not you. I could understand people doing stuff like this because again, they have to pay their rents, they have to feed their family, they are not wealthy as you are, they trusted you, and then you just and so I understand why someone would do that. But for you to have your peeps in the British press going and claiming that they're attacking you, that's ridiculous. That is utterly ridiculous. So while they're hiding, and again, this is something that they should be out there dealing with. I don't know, and I'm assuming if they've been in touch with these people. I mean, Carol did if you are to believe the articles that were written in July when all this mess blew up, some of the people that she owed money to said that she was on the phone with them promising that they would get their money back. And so for them to not, fulfill that, and again, you're sitting in a multi-million-dollar home while people trying to get, trying to keep their business open and feed their family and pay their rent. I can understand that, so I can understand people doing stuff like this and embarrassing them. But again, this is them allowing their goons in the press to go attacking people that they owe money to. This is not going to turn out well for them. No matter how much the press is like, oh, they're being attacked or they're being attacked. This is nonsense. Anybody, again, there's a cost of living crisis going on. Nobody would be on their side because of this. I'm assuming most of the people are like, yeah, out them. They should be paying, even though it's their company and not them personally. But again, she did promise that they were going to get paid. And now she is in a multi-million-dollar home enjoying her life. And they're, I don't know where they are in their business, but it is not easy. It is not easy. So, yeah, it's just very... And the thing about it with all of this mess is I don't believe that Carol and Michael Middleton were ever as wealthy as they claim to be. I don't believe Party Pieces ever made the money that they claimed it made. I don't believe that this was ever as successful as they claimed. I think a lot of this and a lot of this mess has happened because they've been trying to keep up with the Joneses or the Waleses. They've been trying to keep up with the turnip tops or whatever they call it. And now they've found themselves in this situation. I don't believe, 1 year of Party Pieces not making money would have done this to a company, And so it just is one of those things where it's just like, they're now like, oh, Pippa Middleton's and her husband is a billionaire and all. I don't believe these people are as wealthy as either they're claiming or the press is want people to believe, because if let's look, flip it even to the Sussexes, where they're claiming that the Sussexes have all these $100 million contract and there's all these millions and all of these things that they throw out, and they're living like a 50 bathroom house, not 50, but it's a 14 or a 9, or depending on which outlet. They throw all these things out there, and a lot of these things are not true. And I believe a lot of people may have invested in this company believing the lies in the press. And they didn't correct it because it made them, look wealthy, and it made them look like they fit in with the Joneses that they're trying to keep up with. And then this whole mess happened and they don't have the money to be able to do this. Because if I had the money and I know that my name is going to be dragged through the mud and my daughter is going to be the future queen, and that's going to, come across negatively in the royal family, knowing what a royalist they are, I would do everything in my power, even if it's not, legally, it's the company and not me personally. I would do everything I can to pay that up so that my name and my family name is not dragged through the mud, around the world. And so I just don't think they have the money. I think people gave them stuff because they are connected with the royal family. And so it'll be interesting to see how this works out, because I'm like, whoosh, this is embarrassing. This is truly embarrassing. So we will see. I mean, maybe they just love money so much and they just want to hold on to the money and they don't care about their name and their reputation. But I mean, knowing how British people are with their name, I would think that they would want this go away. So Little Max says, I think Uncle Gary funded the Middleton lifestyle. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, so it just, and again, this whole thing about how wealthy they were, I don't believe, because if you have all that money, then you would want this whole thing to go away. You wouldn't. I mean, this has been going on since the beginning of the year, and it's like you wouldn't want your name dragged through the mud. I don't have money, and I wouldn't want my name dragged through the mud in this mess. I mean, it's craziness. So yeah. Anne Louise says, did Carol put her promise in writing? If not, there is no legal recourse. If the Middletons are bankruptcy, the debt is on the business, not in their name. It's a limited company. It only shows it only shows W was playing. Yeah, and that's the thing. I know one from the article that I read. I think it was July when this whole mess happened. And again, if Kate Middleton did not upstage and go there with this nonsense, upstaging the royal Charles and Camilla at that flower show, we would have never known about this mess. This is what happens when you upstage Charles and Camilla. You don't do it. Again, you should have read Spare. But anyways, but back to this. What I read in July is that Carol was on the phone with them, trying to get more supplies and trying to get them to loan, give her more stuff, promising that she's going to pay them. So I don't know that they have it in writing. I mean, unless they, I don't know, recorded her phone conversations with them. At least they'll get her word of mouth. But I don't know that it's in writing. I don't know that, I would have hoped, if it's a business, I would hope that they would have something in writing. But as it is, they haven't said that. So I don't know that, they haven't anything. And again, this is the company, not her and Michael. The company, when you have a company, the dealings is with the company, not the person. And you have an LLC or any one of those things to protect your personal wealth. So that way, if anything like this happens, they can go after the company, not you. That being said, her name and his name are being dragged through the mud. So if you personally have the money and your company owes people and you are as wealthy as people are claiming you are, you go pay it. Even if you're not, legally, you don't have to, because again, it's the company, are two separate things. Just to protect your name and your family name and your daughter and who's going to be the future queen, you would take care of it, because again, you owe these people. It's not like it's something that it's unfair to you. Whatever you did in your company, you owe these people. And so, and especially when they're doing stuff like putting up stuff around your neighborhood and humiliating you, and again, this is going around the world, you would take care of it. So again, my thing is, I don't think they have the money. I don't think Pippa is as rich as the press has been saying that she is. I think a lot of this, again, is keeping up with the Joneses. And maybe they have property and all of those things, but they don't have money. They don't have liquid assets. So it's just like, but we'll see, we'll see what will happen. But again, this is what happens. It's just like, whew. But again, for them to be, allowing their press, to their favorite tabloids, to be going after creditors, it will not be, surprised to see future articles coming out naming the creditors who they're assuming are doing this stuff. This is what they're doing. They're allowing their press to attack their victims. Again, they have a habit of doing this stuff. Instead of dealing with their mess, they have their goons in the press attack their victims. We see it over and over, whether it's the Sussexes, whether it's, what's her name? Who, I forgot, all of a sudden, Ngozi Fulani. You see it. I mean, you're seeing it here again. You see it so many times when, that they allow their press to go attack their victims. And so it's very, very sick. So hopefully I hear in the future that they go take care of their business and make sure these people are okay, because it's grossly unfair. So anyways, moving on from that nonsense. Onto this nonsense. We're going to stay in Shutter Island for a little bit. And Roy and Nika, I swear, Roy and Nika, I'm like, girl, one, get something to take care of those, split ends of yours, and then get a job where you can literally be proud of. Because I don't understand being a reporter and I never mind. It's the British press. Moving on. Let's just go to it. The king will mark his 75th birthday next month with his first big project as a monarch. A major new initiative tackling food waste. He is personally part funding to help those affected by food poverty and the cost of living crisis. A little bit more from Veronica. Charles has made a 6-figure personal donation to the Coronation Food Project, enabling 8 new food hubs to be built across the UK, redistributing 200 million meals a year with grants and fundings for food charities. The government and oppositions are supportive of the plan. A little bit more about it. I'm just going to move a little branding there so that we can see it again, be able to read it. Give me 1 second. Let's just get that out of the way. It says, Charles has made a substantial personal donation, understood to be in the 6-figure sum, to the Coronation Food Project. He will set this in motion on November 14th because he is very concerned about the impact of the cost of living crisis on people's lives. The 5-year program aimed to radically reduce waste and help those most at risk of food poverty with the creation of 8 new hubs and depots, redistributing up to 200 million meals a year that would otherwise go to waste. Charles' project aimed to supercharge food distribution networks with new hubs, which will have warehouses, fridges, freezers, vans, and drivers. First 4 will be built in London, Glasgow, Merseyside, and North Ireland, with the further 4 be built in locations deemed most at need from the list, including Cardiff, Leeds, Birmingham, Milton Keynes, Northwest, and Southwest. And on and on and on this article goes. And this is an article from the Times. If you want it, I have the archive version. So send me an email. I'll send it to you if you need it. And there are so many things I want to say about it, but just how disgusting this whole thing is. And not only, and I know people have been like, but Petal, this is a good thing. He's, investing, about $1 million or £1 million into this, and he's going to be feeding people, and they're going to be having, setting up food banks and all of this stuff, and they're going to be setting up all of these hubs to feed those in need and really feed those who are most affected by the cost of living crisis, and they have severe food insecurity and all of those things. And it's just like, I see this so completely differently. One is gaslighting. Notice what it's called: the Coronation Food Project. The Coronation, it's just like, for me, this is such a slap in the face to British people, because we remember what happened last year, right? And not even last year, earlier this year. Charles and his people. Did I even have an article about that? I don't know. Yeah, here we go. This was earlier this year. Britain is still reeling from cost of living crisis, though you wouldn't necessarily know it from the plans of King Charles' upcoming May 6th coronation. This is this year. The country is pulling all stops for the crowning of its sovereign, a 3-day jamboree that will feature nationwide street parties, a Windsor concert, and a symbolic ceremony at Westminster Abbey, followed by the grand public procession. It will be a party fit for a king, with a price tag to match. The long weekend is expected to cost British taxpayers at least 100 million to 125 million pounds. And again, this coronation was supposed to be a boost for the British economy. It wasn't. It wasn't. Not only that, the country lost from it. They had no gain from this at all. This was supposed to be the thing that, would be a big boost and, with tourism and all. None of that happened. None of this happened. A price tag of about 100 to 125 million pounds or $1 million, $100 million or I'm sorry, 100 million pounds or $125 million that he took, and they took taxpayer money, earlier this year. And now this man, this is a coronation. Nobody asked for this coronation. He was already king. She was already queen. There was no need for this coronation, especially when they're having in the middle of a cost of living crisis. He did not care that people were hungry. He did not care that people, couldn't pay their rent or couldn't feed their families or couldn't, afford the light bill or the heat or whatever it is. They did not care. They took 100 million pounds of British taxpayer money to put on a show, a boring show at that nobody talked about the day after this. Even he looked bored about the whole thing. 100 million pounds. They ripped off the British people and now have the nerve to come and talk about, oh, yeah, I know we've ripped off 100 million pounds from you people, but I'm going to, invest $1 million and I'm going to put up food banks for you because that's what you deserve. Food banks. We've talked, we have done episodes and episodes and episodes about talking about this coronation. It was conning people out of their money. This is exactly what I thought he would do. This is exactly it. Yeah, let me rip you off of 100 million pounds, but I'm going to just invest $1 million, which I'm sure is not from his pocket, most likely. Is probably coming from taxpayer money that they're claiming it's his. I would not be surprised. I don't have evidence enough, but I would not be surprised. But just so that we make him look good, because he hasn't done anything since he's been king, let's do a project. And I'm going to invest $1 million, £1 million, and we're going to make food banks. If you weren't ripping people off, you wouldn't need food banks. If you weren't taking taxpayer money to do nothing, the UK people, they wouldn't need food banks. That money should have been going to paying people a wage, a living wage where they can take care of their family, where they don't need food banks. And that's the thing. This is the thing with people like the royal family and the rich people in charge. They don't mind handing out money. They don't mind handing out money so they can do food banks and stuff. Why? Because it makes them look good. They don't mind that. But to pay people a living wage where they can come up to their standard and make the kind of money they make, oh no, they would not do that. They would never do that. And I'm like, I cannot believe this is so absolutely despicable and disgusting in so many ways. It is just like, are you serious? Are you serious? You ripped off people 100 million pounds for a coronation nobody asked for, and then turn around and be like, oh, let's call this the Coronation Food Project. So we're going to give them food that, restaurants don't want at the end of the day. So we're going to learn how to, instead of throwing that food away that they don't want, let's put them in let's create a food hub, or let's create a pantry where people could come and eat those food so they don't waste that food. And it's just like, I am just like, are you serious? Are you serious? And again, this is nothing against food banks. This is not what I'm talking about. The amount of money that these people have and the British government have, there should not be food banks. If this is going out where people can earn a decent wage, I don't know that anybody wants to go to a food bank for food. I don't know that anybody would want that. They would rather have a job that's paying a living wage. They would rather have, institutions like the monarchy not ripping them off £100 million. They would rather put that money into schools or whatever you pay doctors and teachers and whatever to do something that benefits your country. Not putting £86 million into people like the royal family who are literally ripping off people. And literally, there is no return on that investment. There's none. Tell me something that the royal family has done that British people are like, oh my gosh, if I didn't have this, I would have just died. There is nothing that they have done that anybody else could not have done. There's nothing that they do right now that anyone else. I mean, we see the Sussexes doing even better work and they don't get paid for it. This is like, so I read this and I could not believe. And that's why I'm like, Roy Anika, I had to just stop because I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious with this nonsense? I hope that in some way, shape, or form, the British people could clear away this royal fantasy fog that they're behind and kick these grifters out. Because I don't understand this mess. And again, the gaslighting and calling that the coronation, I'd be like, dude, just like, oh, what? This is madness. This is utter madness. I cannot believe that I read what I was just like, oh my God. And there is no outrage. Because they know the British people will just accept it. They would accept it and nothing will happen. And they will go on and get their £86 million. And they will put up food banks. And they will just complain that they're going to food banks, that they will do nothing about it. This is really, like, it's unbelievable to me. Absolutely unbelievable. Anyways, moving on. And again, when you look, yep, this was their coronation. You look at all the wealth is around them. Yes, but I'm gonna give about $1 million to poverty. Take care of the poverty. Let's let restaurants give you the food that they don't want, and all in the name of saving food. Yes. Moving on. And then this happened yesterday. And and to tell you the honest truth, this needs to be the standard. And if you don't know what happened, King Willem of the Netherlands and Queen Maxima, they are in South Africa, and they're going on a royal tour as they go. And King Willem earlier this year, I know he was basically apologizing for the Dutch role in slavery and all of that stuff in South Africa, and so I guess he probably felt like, okay, it's time to go touring South Africa. Let's go to the scene of the crime, and we've apologized and all of that stuff. Mind you, there, he's not said anything about reparations, but we've apologized and we're learning more. And I think he's doing this 3-year learning about, so he could get well acquainted with the Dutch role in, the slave trade and all of that stuff. And so he's in South Africa, welcomed there by the prime minister, the president, and all of that, and so him and Queen Maxima went touring, and they went to this museum in Cape Town yesterday. And this is what happened. It says Cape Town, South Africa, angry protesters in Cape Town confronted the King and Queen of the Netherlands on Friday this was 2 days ago, on Friday, as they visited a museum that traces part of their country's 150-year involvement in slavery in South Africa. King Willem-Alexander and Queen Maxima were leaving a slave lodge building in central Cape Town when a small crowd of protesters representing South Africa's First Nation, the earliest inhabitants of the regions around Cape Town, surrounded the couple and shouted slogans about Dutch colonizers stealing their land. And, they more than that, they, shouted at them that they raped their people and they murdered their people. All of that was there. It says the king and queen were put into a car with security personnel and quickly driven away as some of the protesters who were wearing traditional animal skin dress jostled with the police. The Dutch East Indian, and this is a little bit more about it from the article. It says the Dutch East India Company established Cape Town as a settlement for trading ships to pick up supplies on their way to and from Asia. Slaves were brought to work at the colony from Asian and African countries, but First Nation inhabitants of South Africa were also enslaved and forced off their land. Historians estimate that there were nearly 40,000 slaves in the Cape Colony when slavery ended. And so you can see some of the signs in the back where, it says respect us and 371 years. And it was madness. It was absolute madness what happened. And I think, they probably thought, let's see a bit of it. Yeah, so that's actually that's some of what happened there. I hope you can hear me because it looks like hang on one second. Yeah, okay, great. So that's what happened when they were out there in South Africa. And it's very interesting to me that is, because again, he apologized and all of us, and all, or at least, apologize, quote unquote. And all of it seemed good. And I'm sure he's thinking, okay, I'm going to go and, with our tour, do a tour of South Africa and all of that stuff, and to see the response. And I don't think they were expecting that response. I mean, I wouldn't think anybody would be expecting that response. And it is very, very interesting to me because we've seen, we talked about like what was a couple of years ago with William and Kate's and Sophie and Edward visiting the Caribbean. And it's the same thing with these monarchies going to these countries on these tours and whatever. And I remember it's in St. Vincent, I think one of the opposition leaders there, I think he was with, I think it was opposition leader. He had written an article in this outlet called the Breadfruit or something. But I went looking for the article and I don't think the site exists anymore. The link at least does not work at all. And one of the things he talks about is like, he says, do not welcome these people into your country. Do not smile and shake their hands. And whenever they come into your country, if they come into your country, they need to understand when he's talking in terms of these tours to your country, they need to understand that every ground that they put their foot on is a crime scene created by their ancestors. And I'm not saying that King William doesn't understand it, because again, he's doing this whole 3-year study, trying to understand whatever. But they've been alive long enough to know, and to, there's libraries, there's Google, there's everything to learn everything they need to know about their country's history in, with the slave trade and all of this stuff. Oh, goodness, I am cutting in and out. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Is anybody having any other problems hearing me? Just let me know if you're having problems hearing me. Oh goodness, I hope not. Hmm. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me or if you're not hearing me well. Okay, so no. Okay. Janice says no, as in you're not hearing me, or okay, so Lydia said it sounds fine. Okay, Rosin said it's fine now. Okay, so maybe it's from the video, doing the video, I guess. I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, okay. It got me nervous there. Okay, great. So so what was I saying? Yeah. So for me, it's like, look, when you come on these tours, or if you're going on a tour and you have been, again, King Willem has been in the Dutch, he's been in the royal family in the Netherlands for his whole life. I don't know how old he is, but these tours, if you're thinking of, and again, I don't understand why governments like President Ramaphosa of South Africa allow these people to come into their country on these tours. And we are at a point now where nobody who have benefited from slavery, i.e., the royals, whether it be Netherlands or the UK or wherever they are, for me, there is no excuse for allowing these people into your country on these tours if they're not coming to specifically say, I am sorry for what I did, and here I have bring money with me, reparations for your country. Under no circumstance should these people be allowed in your country for these tours. Yeah, come as tourists and pay as everybody else, but under no circumstance. The same thing with King Charles going, we'll get to him in a second. But in this case, I don't look, he was sorry. He said, he's sorry for his country, whatever stuff. But again, you're going to a country where, again, you have this horrible history. You need to come with more than I am sorry and I'm here to learn. You need to come with more than that, and if that's not what, then come in as a visitor and pay, and not these tours where you have, you're on display and you're there meeting people and it's all a big a big show of you go. It's like these things need to end. These things need to end. Unless you're coming to pay back, they have been benefited and living off of the wealth taken from the backs of these people's ancestors. The majority of these people are still living in poverty, and you are in your castles. You come on your 3-day tour to visit the poor people that y'all ripped off, and then you go back to your castle. You need to come with more than, I'm here to learn about your country and figure out what you've been alive long enough. There are books you could read. There's Google. There's, go to a library, whatever you need to do. You have scholars galore that can teach you if you can't do it by yourself. There are no excuse for allowing these people in your country for these kind of tours. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And it's funny that this video is like, oh, they're attacking. If you notice the labeling on that video, King Willem being attacked. No, he's not being attacked. He's being called out. These people, if they were really attacked, they would do what his people did to them. That's an attack. These people have every right to sit there and call him out for the atrocities that was done to their ancestors. Why? Because the brunt of it is now falling on them. And they are still living in poverty and all of that stuff because of what the Dutch and the English did to their people. And so for me, these ridiculous tours need to end. And it's the same way we talked at length about, the Caribbean tour. And they're still happening. They're still allowing these people in their countries, and you smile, and they come and they smile, and they have presidential dinners, and they have these balls and all of these things, and they come and they eat your food and they enjoy your culture. And then you have to pay for your country, have to pay for their security. These people who owe you money, you have to pay for their security and all of that stuff that is costing poor people, because you're getting it from the taxes of the people who their ancestors robbed. And so this kind of stuff, I don't blame these people for going. More and more people need to be protesting. I even saw this letter from someone in Kenya, I think an organization in Kenya, coming up because King Charles is going to be going off to Kenya with Camilla, and and it was about apologizing and reparations, and he should do this. Should consider apologizing. I was like, I didn't even bother with the letter because we've seen these letters all over the place before, and we've talked about them before. They are a waste of your time. They are a waste of your and everybody's time. These letters. If you are going to welcome these people into your country, and again allow them to bring all their photography, because for them this is a photo op. They get to do the good deed of hanging out with the Black people for a minute, for a few days. They eat your food, they dance and soak up your culture, and then go back to their palaces. And you are left with the burden of having to pay once again people who ripped you off. When is this nonsense going to end? And it's like the reporter from St. Vincent says, do not welcome these people into your country. Do not smile with them. Do not shake their hands. And every step they're on your country, every step they make, they need to know that it is a crime scene created by their ancestors. And it's just like, this is what needs to happen. You can write a million letters all you want. They don't respect you. You're not a person to them. They are never going to give you they're never going to do it. They're not going to apologize. They're not going to give you reparations. You're not going to get it. Because why? They don't respect you. And they don't respect you because you keep welcoming them into your country and allowing them to treat you the way you're treated. This whole thing is ridiculous. And I applaud these people. I applaud these people for standing up and speaking out loudly, about what was done to them. And so it is just, again, and then King Charles, again, King Charles, let's read this. King Charles is going to Kenya. It says King Charles will travel to Kenya later this month for a state visit full of symbolism. That's what it's about. State visit full of symbolism. The state visit on October 31st to November 3rd will be Charles's first to a Commonwealth nation since he succeeded his mother last year, underscoring the king's commitment to an organization, I should say useless organization, that has been essential to Britain's global power and prestige since the World War II. And again, that's what it's about. It's about Britain's global power and prestige. This is what this whole Commonwealth is all about. Charles will be greeted by Kenyan President William Ruto when he arrives in the capital of Nairobi. The king plans to visit Nairobi's National Park and meet with environmental activist Maathai, the daughter of the late Nobel laureate Wangari Maathai. And as he underscores his commitment to environmental protection, Charles will also acknowledge the painful aspects of his nation shared history with Kenya, which celebrates the 60th anniversary of its independence from the UK this year. The two countries have enjoyed a close relationship since independence, despite the prolonged struggle against colonial rule, sometimes known as the Mau Mau Rebellion, in which thousands of Kenyans died. His Majesty, very important, His Majesty will take time during the visit to deepen his understanding of the wrongs suffered in this period by the people of Kenya. Fitzgerald's Deputy Private Secretary to the King said during the briefing on the state visit. Again, his reason to, consolidate and to, just reaffirm his commitment to a useless Commonwealth, useful only to the British, because why? It's central to Britain's global power and prestige since World War II. That's what it's all about. That's why they want it, because it's about them, and it's like he will acknowledge the painful aspects of their shared history. He would acknowledge it. Sure. Yes, we did all these killed and, raped and all of that stuff to your people. Yes, we'll acknowledge that, we'll acknowledge it happened. There is no reparations, no apology. There's no nothing. Very important in the bottom. He's there. Why? Part of the visit is to deepen his understandings of the wrongs suffered in the period by the people of Kenya. Again, the same thing with King Willem. King Charles have been alive for how long? I think he's now going to be 75, I think, in next month. You've been on this earth 75 years, and your family have been, you've been the Prince of Wales for most of that. This is your entire life. Your family have benefited from the destruction of these people for your entire life. And you're at the place at 75. You're at the place of, yes, I'm going to deepen my understandings of the wrongs that was suffered by the people of Kenya. A place that you visited like 2 or 3 times before. And this is why you're there, to deepen your understanding. This ain't about the Kenyan people. And that's the thing. This is not about the people of Kenya. These royal tours are not about the people that you're going to, you're going to wave and smile to and, consolidate your power. This is not about them. This is about you. And again, this is the thing with these ridiculous royal tours. It is never about the people that they're going to visit. It's only about the people in that they pay for all of this stuff. And again, King Charles going to soak up the hospitality. I'm sure the people of Kenya are very hospitable people, loving people. But they go to soak up your culture. You go to soak up all of that stuff, eat your food and all of that stuff. I'm sure they're going to be dancing, be entertained and all of that. And he's going to deepen his understanding. But there will be no apology and there will be no reparations. And then after 3 days, they go back to their castle in the UK. My thing to the people of Kenya is that the First Nation in South Africa have shown you the way. Y'all better be out there protesting. Y'all better be out there protesting this mess. I don't, again, understand why a nation, why these countries allow these people to come and do this in their country. Why? They will again, they don't respect you. They're never going to apologize. Your only option is to say no. You want to learn and deepen your understanding? Do it in your own country. Do it there. Go sit in a library, go online and Google, get a book. Whatever, deepen your understanding in your own country, and you're only allowed here when you're ready to apologize and you're ready to make restitution for what your ancestors did, or else the answer is no. I long for a leader of the Caribbean or Africa or wherever to say no, to stop this nonsense. And then putting out letters, oh, you should apologize and you should pay restitution. It's on you, the people of these countries, the government of these countries, to put your foot down. These people are grifters. All they know is to take. They're going to keep taking from you as long as you allow them to. You have got to say no. And so it just, I'm like, oh my gosh. And so next year and the next year and for the next 20 years, we're going to be having the same discussion because they're going to be doing the same thing. And for the next 20 years, he's going to be deepening his understanding then too. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Anyways, moving on from this mess. Stay in the UK. Simon Case, and one of the things, let me just get some water before my throat runs dry. Simon Case, as we remember there, Simon, as Prince Harry in Spare referred to him as the Fly, as we know that Simon Case is always, whenever there is caca around, as we call it, caca around, that's where kind of Simon Case is, as according to Prince Harry. Wherever there is that, Simon Case is there. And so Simon Case his whole tenure or going back to the government has been no different. Talk about Harry. Harry is just amazing. Like, he just is so precise of how he named them and based on their, what they do and their character. And he just nailed it with every single one of them, including Simon Case, the Fly. And We all remember Simon Case with that, Flybe jet where he had William and Kate, fake going into this private into this budget flight while allowing the press to destroy Harry and Meghan for taking a private jet to Elton's jet, who he had bring them for a little vacation, threw Harry, Meghan, and a baby Archie under a bus to elevate William and Kate and let the press destroy them. Simon Case, who has been at the root of a lot of the problems that, happened with Harry and Meghan in the UK. And, shortly when the Sussexes left, he went back to the government. And Simon Case has been wherever there is mess in the British government, you can find the fly. You can find this man. And this is no different. So there's been a whole big mess with COVID, and Simon Case has been all up in it and just been a mess, and people have been calling for him to resign forever. And so apparently this is what happened. I just saw it literally started posting this right before I came on here. Says Simon Case, who said the government looked like terrible tragic joke over COVID and was due to begin inquiry within the next couple of weeks, has taken a medical leave for an unspecified period. Basically, he's running away. Says Case was due to give evidence to the UK COVID-19 inquiry about the government's handling of the pandemic in the coming weeks. He was personally under pressure after Probe published phone messages earlier this month in which he appeared to mock the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson's handling of the crisis. A letter went out to departmental heads this week noting that Case would be absent for an unspecified period and detailing which top civil servants will deputize for each of his responsibilities. At the moment, a single standing cabinet secretary is not being lined up to take his place while he is on leave. Whatever is going on in the British government, Simon Case is most likely running away. Doesn't want to deal with it. Flittering off like the fly is to maybe another set of caca somewhere, but whatever it is, I cannot wait until, karma really settles in on this man for all the damage that this man has done. Goodness. Yeah. So anyways, he is he's on leave for an unspecified amount of time. So he may just never go back. Anyways, moving on. Maybe he's going to go back to King Prince William. Who knows? And anyways, we'll get to the chat in a second. I'm just going to finish this and then we'll get to the chat. And finally, just saw I read into this photo of Greta Thunberg out here and her friends, her climate activist friends, all supporting Palestine and Gaza and climate. I mean, Greta was just arrested earlier in the week for protesting, climate. There's a climate protest, I guess, in the UK, and so the UK government, arrested her, or the police, I should say, arrested her, and so she is back out, and so she is protesting about what's going on in Gaza, as a lot of people around the world, which has been so heartening to see, because we've talked about this at length here about what is happening there, and just the horror of watching governments like the United States and others completely back genocide and completely support basically the eradication of innocent men. And it's like, I was thinking about it with the Holocaust. There was like, when that happened, it was the thing, never again, never again. That was the mantra. Never again would we sit back and allow, this kind of atrocity where you're wiping out people. And it's just like, and the sad part, the crazy part of this is now being done by the very people that genocide, that Holocaust was against. They're now doing the very thing to the Palestinian people. And it's just like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And so we've talked about it at length, and where I stand on that whole issue. And so it has been really heartening to see that, people from around the world, there have been protests and protests all around the world, cities and places that I never even thought, thousands upon thousands of people on the streets protesting to the ceasefire, protesting the apartheid, the Israel's apartheid on the Palestinian people, the genocide that's going on. It has been, and for me, it's like, for this to stop, it's going to be we the people. The government, they're not going to do it. We've seen the American government. They are now like, oh, we want to give Israel $100 million and give to, Ukraine. And it's just like, you're funding genocide. This should have been the easiest thing, the decision that the American government this should have been the easiest decision that they've had to make, to not co-fund and support genocide. You would think. And yet here we are. Here we are. And so I have been so heartened to see people around the world say, no, we will not sit by and allow this to happen. We will not sit by and we will not be party, even in Israel today. Actually, it was last night I saw a video of people in Israel protesting this because it is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. For what Israel is doing to the people of Palestine, it is wrong. And so for me, it has just been like, thank you. And so, and this.
Israel asesina, Europa patrocina. Israel asesina.
And so those are, from 3 different, I think London, Spain. I think the other one was from Brussels. Of just 3 countries that are protesting. But again, there are protests I just saw a video of people in Malaysia that were just like massive amount of people. And again, this is people from around the world saying, we don't care what our governments, they do not speak for us. We're not going to sit by and allow this stuff to happen again, and I am so happy. Again, this is what happens when you have. This is so important when you have friends or whatever, when you see people are doing wrong, it doesn't matter what your relationship is, you say no. You say no, that stuff like this. If people had said no to Israel when they started this, we wouldn't be here today. But it's because people did not say no and they've allowed this. This is where we are, where thousands of people are dying. They're killing thousands of people. And now it's like, are you crazy? So I am so happy and heartened to see people around the world just standing up and say no. And again, it's going to be we the people, because the governments are not going to do it. And it's also heartening to see so many people changing and, changing their stance and being stronger and louder, to stand up and say no. When you see wrong, you got to speak out, and you got to risk friends, and you got to risk friendship and relationships. But right is right and wrong is wrong. We got to call it out. So for me, it's been really wonderful to see. Thank you, people of the world, for standing up and saying never again. So yeah, I'm going to go and stay in the comments for a bit. Oh my goodness, someone donated. Oh, coffee bar. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I missed anyone, I hope I didn't. I'm going to fish through and see if I missed anyone. But I'm going to start from the bottom and then scroll back up to see what you guys are saying before we end. Thank you again, Coffee Bar. I appreciate your support. And Louis says, Simon on sick leave for unspecified time. Is that another word for sacked or some scandal about to be revealed and be out of the way? Mud sticks to the fly, allegedly. Who knows? But would we be surprised though? And I don't think anybody would be surprised, least of all Prince Harry, who named him the fly. That's what flies do. They flit around for caca, So yeah. Let's see. What else you guys are saying? Veronica says, I'm glad there are Jews who are not going along with the planned genocide of Palestinians. Yeah, they're in Washington, D.C. There is, I forgot the name of the organization, it's a Jewish organization. They have been protesting since, I don't know, for 2 weeks now. They did like a sit-in in Congress. They got arrested. There were hundreds of them out. They're like, no, not in our name. We don't support this free Palestine. So there are many Jews in, around the world, even in Israel. Again, they were protesting and calling for Netanyahu to resign. That was last night. There's a whole video of. I wish I should have brought it in. I didn't remember. But yeah, there are a lot of Jews around the world. I mean, I was even watching this girl who she's Jewish, and she's actually lived in Israel, talking about just what it's like to grow up Jewish and just understanding what they're doing to the people of Palestine. And it's just like, no, you can't do that, But so there are a lot of people who are just seeing the right. It's not about, okay, this is my religion or that's your religion. It's like, this is a human being you're doing this to. This is a person. This is a human being. And that's the thing. When you listen to some of these government officials or military, the way how they refer to the Palestinian people is that they're less than people. It's like they're human, they're animals. And some of them even refer to Palestinians as animals. And the sad part of that is that's exactly what Hitler did to the Jewish people to justify the Holocaust. He referred to them and basically brainwashed these people to start thinking of them as not human to justify wiping them out. And now the Jewish people are doing the same, or the Jewish government really and their military are doing the same thing to the Palestinian people and referring to them as animals. And that is what happens when you don't see people as human beings just like yourself. And that's the thing. They don't see them as human beings, and not only not human beings, definitely not like themselves. They are above these things at the bottom. So it's okay to wipe them off. And they expected the world to co-sign that. And while Western governments have co-signed, the people have certainly not. And they're coming out in thousands, marching on the streets and saying no. And you could see even the tone of the reporting, those, that's the reason I never, ever watch, regular television or regular news, the mainstream press. They were going along with that, oh, Israel is only defending themselves narrative. And now that they're seeing millions of people now marching around the world, you could see the tone change and the narrative change, because we're realizing their narrative is not going through. We have social media. We're not going to be brainwashed. We're seeing this stuff happen in real time. And we can call out people and call out their lies in real time. And the press is realizing their narrative is not going. That government narrative that they've been, that they've been able to brainwash people with for all of these other wars is not happening this time. That people are not believing them, So it's just, hey, social media has its issues, but on stuff like this, it's been really great to see in real time what is happening, so we can call out stuff. So yeah, very interesting. Let's see. Yeah, it is a very sad situation. It is a very, very sad situation that did not need to happen. So yeah. Again, that's why it's important. And especially if you have relationships with people in power, people who are wealthy, it'll feel like, oh my God, I can't say anything to them because they're so much more powerful. Case in point, someone who, I'm not going to say, because I don't want people going over there and saying anything, but who normally does good. He normally does good, but he's very close to the president. And even when the president literally went on television co-signing genocide and saying he's going to give, Israel how many billions of dollars to basically fund and keep funding the genocide, this person comes on Twitter talking about, oh my gosh, what a great president. He's strong and he, is empathy. And I'm just like, empathy? Empathy is not co-funding genocide. Strong, what do you mean strong? That is the weakest thing he's going to do. You're wiping out innocent people who don't have anything to defend themselves. You're wiping out innocent mothers and children. How is that brave? How is that strong? And it's, again, when you're too close to power and you just can't say no to them, this is the kind of nonsense you start believing, and it's just like, oh, unbelievable. Gwen says karma is kicking butt and taking names. Karma sure is. I love karma. I just say, I'm like, please don't come after me, but I love what you're doing otherwise. So yeah. American Royal Success. Oh, I like that. Says, I'm in business and I was advised to be anonymous for now, non-political for now. Everybody has, you do you, whatever works for you, whatever is best for you. I can't say, well, everyone could speak out or whatever. But my thing is, look, in all of this is, if we're not willing to risk for others, when stuff happened to us, are we expecting others to risk for us? Right now, it's Palestine. Right now, it's the people of Palestine. But it's going to come back where we're going to need people to stand up for us. We're going to need to have to risk something. So that's how I look at it. We all risk something. People have lost jobs and all of that stuff. Again, I'm not coming down on anyone. But I think every one of us have to decide, okay, what is important in life? And for me, if a situation like this, where people are literally committing mass murder on a wide scale and you're committing genocide and all of that stuff, and if I can't speak about this, and if this is a job that is like forbidding me to speak out or forbidding me to go on a protest or forbidding me to whatever, that is not a job that I want. That is not a job that I want to be around. Because if yours would forbid me from doing something like that, where I'm standing up for humanity, standing up for the most important thing in the world, if people don't have life, then, it's like, whatever, what I mean? If I can't stand up for that, then this is not a job that I want to be a part of. This is not an organization that I want to be a part of. Because you're showing me that human beings don't matter to you. You're showing me that my humanity doesn't matter. Because if it comes against me, I wouldn't expect you will not stand up for me. So I have to usually balance, and I have to think about those things, so it's just like, and again, for me, it's like, I feel like I'm always risking something anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's so funny. I saw this British politician, British MP. She wrote something similar. She's like, I refuse, because I don't know if they, it was a thing where they can't stand up, or it probably is not, because, the British government is very much, they are siding with Israel and all that stuff. Whatever I think, but her thing is like, I refuse to stay silent. I refuse. And I'm going, I'm at that march. And so in London kudos to our London peeps. They rocked out. I think it was like 300,000 people in London marching and protesting or something like that. London was huge. And so she was like, I'm going to go. I'm going and being a part of that. I'm not going to stay silent. And for me, if you cannot speak out when there is genocide going on, if you cannot speak out again, that's not organizations I want to be a part of. I was like, no, because for me, that is the most important thing. If you can't speak out in support of people's life, then what else is there? What else is more important than that? So that's how I think about stuff like that. And for me, this is not a political issue. This is a humanitarian issue. It's like, it's a situation where, yes, politics is around it, but it's coming down to the basic of, I don't see you as a human being, so therefore I will eliminate you. And so for me, that's what that is. And that's my, conviction about stuff like that. Coffee Bar says, pedal, you get it. Oh, I do? Let's see what I got. The countries that were injured or suffered as a result of colonialism should protest against these types of visits. These countries don't engage in similar visits. Exactly. Even when, even if the leader of these countries go to the UK, they don't get this kind of stuff unless, the UK wants something from you, it just, it's just, again, I don't really understand why they would do it, why you allow this sort of nonsense in your country, especially from people who owe you money. I was like, no, I don't know any person who, think about it. Carol Middleton owed those creditors money, right? She, took their merchandise and didn't pay them. She owes them money. Do you think any of those people that Carol Middleton and Mike Middleton owes will welcome them into their home and introduce them to their families and be like, oh, and so Carol Middleton and Mike Middleton and whomever else Middleton could come and then do their little photo op. See, I'm hanging out with the people that I owe money to. Or, I may have destroyed your business, but hell, I'm here for fun. You think those people would welcome them into their home? I don't think so. How much more the people who, that has been brutalized by the UK and other, colonizers, how much more should you not welcome these people into your country? And again, to eat your food, soak up your culture, and then go back to, get their photo up and go back to, this is craziness. This is utter craziness. I don't see, Audrey Tessera, thank you so much. Like, evening, Paddle Mod Squad, and all the Sussex family around the world. Much love and respect to all. Pray you all have a blessed Sunday. Good night, all. Oh, thank you, Audrey. And thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate it so much. And as Baron would say, thank you for watching. Facts and 2 cents. Oh, by the way, guys, I changed my banner for my YouTube page. So hopefully you guys see it. It's like, oh, some changes are happening. But thank you so much, Audrey. I appreciate it. Let's see. What else you guys are saying? Rosa says the only way war ends is when imposters stop stealing a history that is not theirs. And they're not going to stop stealing. They're just, thieves are going to be thieves. Unfortunately. Let's see. Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator, says the ungodly unroyals tried to cover up the fact that the heater in Archie's room in South Africa caught fire. They tried to make it seem as though Meghan was lying. Archie could have been harmed. Yes, 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 and yes. Yeah. They were even attacking Meghan until a South African reporter, I guess, was like, no, it actually happened. Oh, actually was a security. It actually happened. It was, yes. And did they apologize to Meghan? I'm sure not, Let's see. Lorna says the Ivy League law student that lost his placement in law firms because they spoke out, I think are better off. Who wants to work for a firm where you have to be a yes robot? Exactly. Anyone who is firing someone because they speak out for humanity, anyone who is for standing up, and a lot, anyone who is doing something, you don't need to be working at that company. If you have any kind of decency about you, do not need to work for these people. Because again, if you were in that position, they would not be speaking up for you. That is a guarantee. They will not be speaking up for your life if they are stopping you from speaking out. Where look at what is happening right now. So yeah, that's not a place where I'd want to work. I'd be like, deuces, I'm out. So and again, in those situations, like even if someone is like, bosses are like, we're forbidding you from speaking, you don't even have to fire me. I will quit. Because again, I will not work for someone who would, be against me or try to punish me for speaking out for humanity. That is not people that I want to be around. Definitely not somebody I want to be working with. So yeah. And Lois says, cookies. Oh, she's talking to Cookies and Cream. Fire in South Africa, British Embassy with Archie. No coincidence. Only one room. Oh, no smoke alarm, etc. Black smoke and 6 months old child lungs. Harm is not the word security, etc. Yeah, that is, I mean, I would love to know, you know, I mean, we don't know. Megan just mentioned it, but we don't know what, all the ins and outs or what happened after that. So, I mean, I don't know if they'd ever address it, but I would love to know what happened after that. I know they moved residences after that. So, yeah, that is just very, very scary. But I'm glad our Archie is safe. So, yeah. And I'm glad he had Lauren. Lauren is such a, like, talk about an angel from heaven. So, yeah. Cookies and cream, says Little Meg, exactly. They're hoping for the worst to happen. Their plan backfired big time. The world now knows what they are capable of doing. And I'm not sure specifically who you're speaking about, but yes. Yes. Could be the royals, could be Israel, could be whatever, yeah. And again, it's like, nobody here is like, we hate Israel. No, I don't hate Israel. I do not hate the Israeli people. But I believe that, again, even if you look at, say, the Bible, it's like, it literally speaks about, for those whom God even said, to those whom I love, I rebuke and I correct. And if we love people, you got to love people enough with the truth and be like, be able to tell your friends and your family when they're doing wrong. You need to call them out. So we don't end up with this mess. So yeah. Let's see. Karen, this Karen Witter. Karen, I almost put you in timeout accidentally. Oh my goodness. I was just like, it's a good thing I was watching what I was doing. I almost clicked the timeout thing. Sorry, Karen, I almost put you in timeout. Karen says they want us to believe Hamas is blowing up their own people with Israel rocket firing into Gaza. Are we that gullible? It's so funny with all of this thing. I know, it's like, it's funny watching they put, like, the Israeli army put out these things and then people call them out because, you look at timestamps and then them having to either one backtrack and delete their posts because people call them out on this whole mess. And it's very funny because I was watching a video of this girl and she was talking about her family and how her family was able to fight back because her ancestor, grandfather, great grandfather and stuff were all they were all victims of Hitler and, they were all part of the Holocaust and how they had to fight back and the things that they've had to do, including taking lives of people who were trying to wipe them out. And so she was saying because her grandfather and her ancestors fought back, she is now here because if they wiped them out, obviously she wouldn't be here. And how even though they've had to do things that they weren't, necessarily in a normal world would, but they fought back and they are now considered heroes because they fought back. And, you look at, say, in Ukraine, the Ukrainians who obviously the Russians came in and they're still there and they're trying to wipe out Ukraine and Ukrainians fight back. And we call them heroes because they're fighting to protect their country. And it's very interesting. The people of Gaza who fight back are called terrorists. And it's like, but what's the difference? What is the difference? I am not here advocating violence on any side. I am not very anti-violent in any of these things, but I'm just very interested with the framing of people who fight back, who Arabs or Muslims who fight back are called terrorists. Yet the people of Ukraine who fight back to protect their country are called heroes, or the Jews who they're all rightfully are fighting back, but they're not called terrorists. So it's very interesting for me, the framing. And I'm not saying Hamas hasn't done cruel. They have, but it's very interesting how it's called different, when it's the white person in Ukraine doing, they're heroes. They're protecting their country. When the Jewish people, they fought back, they were heroes. But when the people of Gaza fight back, they're called terrorists. And it's like, And then that has been the propaganda that's been fed to us and fed to us. So you look at people, and that is, what they do to us. And so by the time we look at them, they're subhumans, they're just terrorists. So we wipe them out and we're okay with it. They're the bad people, we're the good people. There's literally in the Israeli army, they put out a tweet about the good people and the people of light and the people of darkness. Now the people of light is going to take out the people of dark. And I was like, well, I hope you understand you're the darkness right now. So it's very interesting how the media and the government frame things, and then they feed that to us, and you hear that stuff long enough, because I thought it was the same until I realized what was really happening. It's like, wait a minute, wait, this is not right. And I think more and more people are waking up to these narratives, and how I think it was I don't remember, I don't think it was Martin Luther King or somebody says we need to be careful with the media. The media can make you love the oppressor and hate the oppressed. And this is exactly what we're seeing now with narratives, that we have to be careful and really understand what's going on, and don't allow the media to shape. Look at what they did to Harry and Meghan. How, if you listen to the media, that's why you have the derangers. They have really groomed people to believe that the people who are being abused, the victims, were the aggressors. And the aggressors, the people who were victimizing, they are the victims. And it's crazy with these narratives. If we're not careful about what we're listening to, and we're not careful and we don't go and investigate for ourselves, we would really fall victim to this as well. So it's very interesting, all of this stuff. Let's see. A few more before we end. Elizabeth says nobody needs to choose sides to have a safe job. No, absolutely. You don't need to choose, I just said choose what is right. Be on the side of humanity. If you're going to choose, be on the side of humanity as a human being looking to another human being. Is this the way, if I was in this situation, is this the way I would want to be treated? Would I want to sit, if were I to walk in this person's shoes, is this how I would want to be treated? So yeah. Dolores talking back to Harry and Meghan. She says, Harry and Meghan know that the royal family can't be trusted. It's not safe for Meghan and Harry's children in Britain. It's something, if something was to happen, we would never get the truth. Did they say they were going to maybe I missed something? Maybe the British press they are constantly with Harry and Meghan going back to the UK, or with Harry going back to the UK. Yeah, Harry already said he's not going to bring his family back there because it's not safe. Unless he gets security, that's, yeah. Even an MP was calling out Suella Braverman recently. It's like, saying that Harry cannot pay for security or pay for armed police is ridiculous. So we all know that's ridiculous. We've been saying, if you're a squatty, we've all been saying how ridiculous it is that that Harry cannot pay for his security. It's absolutely ridiculous. Alice Landon, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are awesome. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Guys are awesome. Huge thanks. A few more again before we end. Oh, thank you, Alice. And again, if you're here and you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Click the little notification bell so you can know when we drop a video. And please like and share the video. Thank you guys for sharing it. So yeah, I appreciate it. So yes. Let's see. Oh, you have a good afternoon too, Joy. See you tomorrow. It's a great discussion about the King trip to Kenya. We'll see. Over to you, Kenya. Will you speak up or no? We'll wait to see. We will wait to see. Let's see. Cookies and Cream says, oh, she's talking to Joyce. The press knew about it. That's why they tried to make it seem as though Meghan was lying. It's only when the South African media confirmed that the UK press changed their story. Yeah, I'm sure they knew about it. Yep, very true. Very, very true. And I mean, the royal family definitely knew about it, because then they were like, oh, it's just some smoke, whatever. Yeah. It's, oh, goodness, these people, amazing. It just, it's craziness. Let's see. Gwen Daniel says, Harry knows his family can't be trusted around his wife and beautiful kids. And the thing about it, people are like, Harry, they need to go back so that they can, see the grandfather. I'm like, airplanes travel both ways. Charles could come to the US if he wants to see them. I mean, it's something, he's traveling as far as going to Kenya. He's going all around the world. So there's nothing stopping him from coming to the US. So there you go. Let's see. Anyways, guys, I think that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen. Thank you all. Wait, did I say Church Nelly? Did I miss Church Nelly? I don't think I saw Church Nelly. But anyways, thank you all so much for hanging out with me on this Sunday afternoon. Hopefully you have a fantastic rest of the day. Thank you to our 2 cents crew. I'm going to move myself so you see everybody who support the channel on a monthly basis. I appreciate you so much. And to our awesome Gold Star supporters, as you can see in the chat, who donate, buy super stickers and all of that. Thank you for your support. I appreciate every single one of you, because you help me pay so that way I can do this. So I appreciate you guys. But thank you all so much. Have a fantastic day. I love you all, and I shall chat with you mañana. Bye.